Good morning, everybody. And today we have met in order to discuss about the MPharm thesis guidelines. Dear students, you are now at MPharm thesis writing. So it would be better that if you keep it in your mind, all these guidelines that are prescribed by Andhra University and prepare your thesis. Hope it will be useful to you. Let's start the discussion. All of you, please check that you are in the mute mode. Then we can continue. I could hear some sound, right? So these are the regulations concerning MPharm third semester as well as fourth semester evaluation pattern, first of all. So you have completed at the end of third semester and you have started your fourth semester. See, someone is not in a mute mode. Please see that you are all in mute mode. Okay. Okay. So first of all, we are briefly discussing about the regulations concerning the MPharm third semester and fourth semester evaluation pattern given by Andhra University. So evaluation, so follow carefully. Evaluation of the semester on the objectives and work plan of proposed project is to be completed within 1 month from the commencement of the project date with 3 examiners from same college consisting of the research guide, another teacher in the concerned specialization, and third teacher from different specializations. These teachers must fulfill the eligibility criteria laid down in section 3. So section 3 is again another part in the syllabus book, in the M-Pharmacy syllabus book given by Andhra University, where the criteria will be given for what criteria the teachers have to satisfy, that they have to belong to M-Pharmacy, they have to be so and so specialization and so on. These are the specifications or criteria given to be satisfied for faculty. However, we are not concerned with that for today's present day discussion. So, dear students, this seminar on objectives and work plan has already been completed. You have all presented your objectives of your project and the work plan of your project. And we have also invited the examiners from our college, and we have conducted this, and also the marks have been submitted. Then evaluation of the MPharm third semester midterm project review and seminar on the selected topic will be done by the research guide and an external examiner. So this is the difference. For objectives and the work plan, the college itself can conduct this particular exam. Whereas in case of MPharm third semester midterm project review and seminar on selected topic, an external examiner will be coming to the college, and along with the internal examiner, in the presence of external examiner, the exam will be conducted. So this is what we know, that by the time this exam might have been conducted, we are in a lockdown position now. So these are in the pending state. We don't know what decision now the Andhra University will be taking regarding this MPharm third semester midterm project review and seminar on selected topic. But no information has come yet. No information has come regarding this third semester. But however, I hope you are all ready with your PowerPoints. Someone is in an unmute mode. Sai Lakshmi, please put yourselves in the mute mode. Please put yourself in the mute mode. Okay. Then coming to the thesis. A candidate shall submit 4 copies of his or her thesis, either printed or typed, embodying the results of the research work done by him under direction of an approved research director, following the specific guidelines as stipulated under Section 5. So that is what we are going to discuss in detail also, what is present in Section 5. All the candidates must submit their thesis within the prescribed date as per the academic calendar. So this is a job that you have to do now, and I think you have all started it, and you have to complete it according to the following guidelines that we are going to discuss now. So here the point to be noted is you all have to submit 4 copies of your thesis, printed or typed. And embodied, nowadays everything is printed only. There is no more typing work that is being done. And it should contain the results of your research work. The thesis submitted by the candidate shall be examined by a board of examiners consisting of external examiner and the research director, and shall have to be approved after holding a viva voce examination to test the knowledge of the candidate in the subject. The thesis will be evaluated independently by the external examiner and the research director, and in case the difference between the examiners is more than 20%, the thesis shall be sent to a second external examiner whose award shall be the final. The thesis viva voce examination will be jointly conducted by the external examiner and the research director. A candidate can resubmit the thesis in a revised form after further work if required to do so. So this is what you have to note here, that your thesis submission will be taking place at the end of 4th semester. At the end of 3rd semester, you have the midterm project review and selected topic presentation. At the end of 4th semester, you have a thesis submission and you have a viva voce. The thesis submission have to be done before the prescribed date by all the students. And as you know, the exam will be conducted in the presence of an external examiner and your research director. Research director is your research guide. And your viva voce marks will be allotted, and marks for your thesis also will be allotted. Marks for the thesis will be allotted separately by the research guide as well as by the external examiner. So there should not be more than 20% of marks in between the external allotted marks and internal allotted marks. That is what the guideline suggests. If it is so, again the thesis will be evaluated by a third examiner. The thesis will be evaluated by third examiner. And then finally, whatever the third examiner will give, that will be the final marks. So usually it doesn't arise. Even internal examiner and external examiner will be allotting in the same manner, except in rare cases, more than 20% marks difference doesn't arise. So going to the next slide. These are the guidelines for writing the thesis. You can see here the thesis should have the following pages in order. So dear students, please see that in your thesis books, all these documents are present in this particular order prescribed by Andhra University. The first one is the title page, highlighting the title, name of the candidate, register number, guide name, college name, month and year of the submission. So when you prepare a title page, please check that these parameters are present over your title page. The inner title page contains the same details on a white background. So this is the inner title page, means the first page, as and when you open your the title page, you get this page. This is called as the inner title page. It looks the same as your front page of your thesis, but it will be present on a white background on a bonded paper. Then you should have certificate from the head of the institution. Next, you must have certificate from the research director. Research director is your research guide, your the teacher or faculty who is guiding you for your MPharm project. Then certificate from the ethical committee for approval of study. This doesn't arise with SUTIC specialization or analysis specialization, but it usually arises with pharmacology where they do the animal study. If at all animal study is involved in your work, then you have to take this certificate from the ethical committee. Then declaration by the student, then acknowledgement, then index. Index must highlight chapter titles and section titles. Then following this index, you must have an index for tables, figures, and plates if you have used any. Then the next page must show the abbreviations and symbols that you have used in the thesis. Then next, it must be materials used in the investigation with their procurement details like name of the company, batch number, etc. Then equipment used in the study with the model number and other details. So these are the front pages. The front pages must have all these things. Then your entire thesis must be categorized into these following chapters. The first one must be aim and objectives of the investigation. The next one should be introduction and literature survey. The next one must be description, that is materials and methods and materials. The next one must be experimental work. The next one is results and discussion. And the next one is summary and conclusions. And the last one is references. The references can be included at the end of each chapter, or the total references can be included at the end of the thesis. However, you have to mention the reference number wherever it is quoted. The number should be seen in the inner pages of your thesis book. At the end of your thesis, you will be placing references and you will be numbering the references. You will be putting around 20 to 25 references, I hope so. These 25 numbers must be represented somewhere in your thesis where you have used that particular reference, where you have used the knowledge gained from that particular reference. So this quoting of the reference number is very, very important. It is not just that you place references at the end of the thesis. You must clearly quote where the references has been used in preparing your thesis or doing your research work. So this must be strictly followed, dear students. The chapter numbers, though in this particular slide there are no numbers, there are only bullets, but the chapter numbers must be given so. The first chapter must be aim and objective. Second chapter must be introduction and literature survey, and the headings also must be the same. The heading to the chapter also must be the same as given in this guideline. The next one is a description with methods and materials. The next one is experimental work. Next one is results and discussion. The next one is summary and conclusion, and the next one is references. So now you can count how many chapters there are. There are 7 chapters now, including references. Okay. So again, briefing you, in the previous slides, we have seen all the pages that you have to put it in the front pages of your thesis book. That is what we have seen in the previous slide. After those front pages, these chapters must start. It must start from aim and objective. And one more thing, what are the font? What is the font that you have to use? What is the font size that you have to use? Where you should put the bold font, etc. You have to follow according to this guideline given by Andhra University. The thesis should be typed in Times New Roman, 12 font size with 1.5 line spacing from the beginning of the thesis, including titles to the chapters and sections. Bold font may be used whenever necessary. The students are expected to follow scientific grammar for writing, in vivo, etc. See, you can see in the slide how in vivo has been written. You have to follow, whenever you write in vivo, you have to write in that same way, like small letters and italics. Okay, this is a small example that wherever you are using scientific grammar, you have to follow its format. So this guideline is very, very important, that your entire thesis must be in Times New Roman in 12 font size with 1.5 line spacing from the beginning of the thesis, including titles to the chapters, including titles. So you please follow this guideline word to word, including chapters and sections, titles to the chapters and sections. Only thing is, wherever necessary, you have to take it as bold, that's all. Bold and capital letters. Whenever necessary, you change them to a capital letter, or give or end or you can use the bold font. But entire thing must be in 12 font size only. There is no bigger font size for headings. There is no bigger font for side headings and subheadings and so on. Everything is in a 12 font size Times New Roman only. So for example, now you may get a doubt here that how, when everything is in the same size, how the subheadings get differentiated. For the main title, you use a capital letter, bold font. For the subheading, you can use a sentence case. Sentence case means the first letter starts with capital letter, the remaining words will be in small letters. And a bold, give it a bold nature. Then what about the sub-subheading? You give a sub-subheading with the same 12 font and use a sentence case where only the first letter is a capital thing, and you keep it in italics. Then it differentiates from the subheading to sub-subheading. So main heading can be in capital letters bold, subheading can be in a sentence case small letters bold, sub-subheading can be small letters, sentence case and italics. This differentiates the three types of headings. But everything should be in 12 font only. That is what you have to remember, and 1.5 line spacing. This is a very important guideline because every page you have to follow this. Then the citation of references should be done carefully by citing the complete reference, that is the name of the authors. Use of et al. Is not allowed in the citation of reference. The students are expected to give the primary references rather than secondary or higher levels of references. The presentation of the reference must be in Vancouver style. Vancouver style. This is the point to be noted here. Always we have been discussing on this point when we met in the college also, that your references must be in the Vancouver style. The Vancouver style can easily be known from the internet. When you type Vancouver style of references in Google, it will be giving you a small note, like how a research article has to be represented in Vancouver style, how a reference to a book, textbook can be given in Vancouver style, how a review article can be represented in a Vancouver style, how a URL can be represented in a Vancouver style. So you just go to Google and put a Vancouver style of references, you get the information. How a book has to be represented, how a research article has to be represented, how a review article can be represented, how a URL address can be represented. All this you can have from Google. And also we have seen that few students are very, very well versed with this Vancouver style. They are giving the references without any mistakes. This is what already we have noted. And my suggestion to the other students also to please follow this Vancouver style. References form a very important part of your thesis book. Each and every page may not be seen by the author, but he can immediately turn to the back of your by the external examiner, but he can immediately turn your book to the last pages and see how you have represented your references, because its organization will tell you your attitude, how you have organized your thesis. If you have followed a particular format to your references, it gives an impression that you have followed all necessary formats inside your thesis also. inside your thesis also. So references, dear students, plays a very important role to your thesis. And even at the end of your PowerPoint presentations also. So don't use at all. If I have done a research work and with me, for example, Sahana, Sirisha, Sri Vidya, all are working for me for a research project, and I have published a paper, then I can simply quote somewhere, Usha et al. Have done this work. But here, Andhra University specifies that don't use the word at all. It is specifying write all the author names. That means I have to write my full name, I have to write Sahana's full name, I have to write Sirisha's full name, I have to write Sri Vidya's full name. Also see in Vancouver style, initial is present in the front or initial is present at the end. That also you have to follow. No code names or numbers are allowed to be written in the thesis for materials used in the project. So this also you have to follow. For example, you are using pantoprazole. You write the full name pantoprazole. If you are using telmisartan, if you are using atorvastatin, write that full name. If you use a capital letter in the beginning of atorvastatin, then you use that capital letter in the beginning to your entire thesis. If you are writing entirely in a small word, small letters, you use the same type in the entire thesis. Don't use capital letters at one place and small letters at other place. Drug names can be written with a capital starting letter or completely small letters also. It is not a mistake if you write completely in a small letter. But the thing is, you have to follow the same thing for the complete thesis. When marks are evaluated to your thesis, if you use two types of representation, one with a capital letter and the other with a small letter, it will be counted as two mistakes. It won't be counted as one mistake. It will be counted as two mistakes. So that is why try to follow the same thing in the entire thesis. So don't give any code names. Use your full name. Use the drug's full name. And don't give any code numbers also. Eligibility criteria for appointment as examiners for MPharm examination, though not much concerned with our discussion today, but still it is present in the slide, so let us look briefly. In order to be eligible to be appointed as an internal examiner for the semester and examination in a respective specialization, a teacher must have MPharm or PhD. MPharm or PhD. In the respective specialization with at least 3 years of MPharm teaching experience for course concerned. This is the minimum criteria a faculty must satisfy to be appointed as internal examiner. And the eligibility of teacher for guiding 3rd and 4th semester project is as follows. So the teachers satisfying the following guidelines as given by Andhra University are eligible to guide the students. The teacher must have MPharm or PhD in the respective specialization with an experience of minimum of 3 years of postgraduate teaching in the respective specialization. So whoever is a guide to you must be from the same specialization, MPharm or PhD from the same specialization. It is more clear. Like for example, here itself, you may get a small doubt that some of our faculty are from MPharm chemistry. So here the guideline is given that they must they must be in the same specialization either in the MPharm or PhD. Chemistry and analysis are counted as the same specialization as per university norms. But still, the faculty who are working at us, though in the MPharm they are chemistry, in the projects they have done analytical works. They have done analysis in their PhD. So in our college, even chemistry faculty are also being given this specialization. So all are following, we are following the norms, every norm given by Andhra University. The eligibility of such teachers qualified for guiding MPharm projects must be ratified by both of Board of Studies before commencement of MPharm guidance. So we are also getting it ratified from Andhra University. So no problem. Then the recognized MPharm guides are not eligible to guide more than 6 students in one academic year, including joint guidance. So this is also satisfied. No teacher is having more than 6 students for guiding, because not that they cannot guide, but if we guide minimum number, we can concentrate more and the project will be more novel. That is the reasons behind it. So all these criteria are being satisfied by our faculty. Next, coming to declaration of results and classification. A candidate shall be declared to have passed the examination held at the end of each semester if obtains not less than 40% in each theory and 50% in each practical or seminar or comprehensive viva, thesis and thesis viva was at the end of each semester end examination. So 40% in theory and 50% in practical is a must. An aggregate of 50% of all examinations of that semester, including sessionals. So this is also necessary to be declared as passed. To be declared as passed, you must satisfy the 40% in theory, 50% in practical, and an aggregate of 50% of all the examinations of that of each particular semester. And for sessional examinations, there are no minimum marks. A candidate who has successfully completed the examination in course by securing not less than 50% of marks shall not be permitted to retake the examination in that course. So, okay, this doesn't arise usually. A candidate who fails to secure 50% of marks on the aggregate but secures 50% or more in some courses and between 40 to 49% in other courses, he or she shall be required to retake the semester and supplementary examination in one or more courses in which he or she secures less than 50% of marks as per his or her choice to satisfy the requirement of 50% aggregate. So here this last point is, if the 50% aggregate is not satisfied, though in one of the subjects she gets more marks, but total 50% aggregate, if it is not satisfied, he or she has to take a re-examination to get that 50% aggregate. So these are the regulations for pursuing MPharm third and fourth semester project. Students desirous of pursuing MPharm third semester and fourth semester projects outside the college are required to get the approval from the college before 1 month from the commencement of the project work. So our right example is like Sai Lakshmi, who is doing project outside. So here it is very necessary to get a prior approval from the college in which he or she is studying. The research work can be carried out in a GMP compliant industry which is approved by WHO, US FDA, etc. and central research laboratories like IICT, CDRA, NIH, etc. or DSIR and Drug Control Administration recognized laboratories. In these approved laboratories only, you must be doing your projects if you wish to do the project outside. A certificate to that effect must be incorporated in the MPharm thesis indicating the duration of stay. So a certificate must be taken from the industry and incorporated in your thesis book, like for how many days you have worked at the industry. If the duration of stay is less than 9 months, the remaining period of stay in the college must be certified by the research supervisor and the principal. See, if you are staying very less time in the industry to do your project, usually this thing happens because the industry people, especially that are approved by WHO, US FDA, etc., whoever, the industry will not be sparing much time for the people coming from outside and doing the projects, because it has its own works to be done regularly. So in such case, the remaining period, other than the period where the student is staying in the industry, the remaining period she must be present in the college. And this must be approved by the research guide and principal, that she is in the college in the remaining time other than the industry time. So two letters are here. Two approval letters are concerned here. One is college must give an approval letter to go to industry. Again, college must give an approval letter that this particular candidate has attended to the college other than those 2 to 3 months of stay in the industry. Then all the students should be present, should present a seminar on objectives of their work plan, etc. within 1 month from the commencement of the project. The students must attend a midterm review in the presence of a committee concerning. So, okay, already we have discussed this. Research director, the suggestions made by the committee are to be taken into consideration for further work and should be presented in the thesis. So, as soon as you are given your project work, as soon as you are assigned your projects with some project guides, within 1 month of assigning your projects, you must present the work objectives and work plan. This already you have done. After that, you must present the project review, midterm project review and seminar at the end of 3rd semester. This would have happened in the month of March or April 1st week, but it didn't happen this year because of this pandemic. That is a different reason. And definitely the external examiner will be giving you certain suggestions in that end of 3rd semester midterm project review. These suggestions must be taken into consideration and must be included in your further work and also to be presented in the thesis. This point also to be kept in mind. So these are the guidelines, dear students. Regarding your thesis writing and the guidelines that you have to follow regarding the thesis writing. Already, I think you know them, but still some points which we may not put it in our minds. Again, we have discussed it today. So keeping all these points in mind, please do your thesis work, except for the work that has remained and which is very, very necessary to go to college and do the work. Except for that, remaining everything you organize in your thesis. Except that, organize everything in the thesis. Please listen to my words. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. We don't know what is going to happen. Everything is uncertain this year. So if you are ready, whenever any circular comes from Andhra University, immediately you will be in a position to submit how it requires. This is what I want from you. And as our college, you know, it will be guiding the MPharm students each and every point of view. So at least colleges like us, we must not lag behind. So we have to be updated and we have to complete our work. Whatever is present in our hands, we have to complete. Thank you, students, for listening today. And all of you, please on your videos. Divya. Divya, on your video, Sai Lakshmi, Sujata. Okay. Did you start your thesis? Did you start your thesis at least now? Did you start organizing your thesis at least now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Those
Yes,
who
ma'am.
are not Bindulata and Ramadevi, you are telling no computer or no internet and so on. You have
I
to,
asked my friend, ma'am. She gave me the laptop.
okay, because it is not me, but no one is going to consider these things. Either the college or the university won't consider if you don't have net or computer. It is your responsibility to have these logistics, right? So tomorrow, already yesterday I talked to Sahana. So tomorrow Sahana will be presenting her work review. Okay, Sahana. So unmute చేసుకొని మాట్లాడాలి. Okay. So Sahana, you will be presenting your work review tomorrow. Please see that it is updated. Please see if any more slides you can put. If any more slides, whatever can be put, you put it in the PowerPoint. Don't put it aside. ఇది review PowerPoint కదా, ఇంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ పెట్టక్కర్లేదు అనేది ఇంక అయిపోయింది ఆ సీన్.